Hello everyone, my name is Jeff Rolka. Thank you for checking out my video, Legato, smooth singing. It gets taught in a variety of different ways. Much of my channel is devoted towards getting the vowels in alignment so that you can then have a nice even response across the phrases in the music that you are singing. Today, we're going to use a very timely example, given the time of year, in a way to illustrate how to apply those practices to lyrical songs. Thank you if you've chosen to subscribe. If you haven't yet, I hope that you'll do so now. There are many ways you can support my channel. Those are all in the description. They do include Patreon, where you can get MP3s and PDFs of these practices so that you can practice wherever your travels take you. Specifically, we have this. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. That's the first phrase of Joy to the World. Again, a very timely example for those of you that will be celebrating the holidays this year. The first thing to notice about this is it breaks down quite nicely into two phrases. Joy to the world. There's an opportunity for a breath. The Lord is come. And then you can finish the phrase there. But how do we get the parts of the phrase within the phrase, those two big chunks of music? How do we get that to be legato? Because, of course, I did not sing this. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. That, I think most of us would agree, would not sound particularly song-like. There may be some instances where some type of very truncated kind of articulations like that, some very short, kind of austere ways of doing it would be appropriate. But 99.9 times out of 10, that is not going to fly. So we want to be legato. We want to connect things. And while there were many that will talk about, how to manipulate the consonants and do all these different things, and yes, that is necessary, and we will touch on that, I would like to suggest to you that there is a more important and more direct way to approach this, a much more overarching way to get your phrases to be smooth, and that is to look at the vowel combinations. So, the first two vowels that we have in our first phrase, visibly they look like two O's, but we have to identify the vowel sounds. I, you. On paper, what's written out there looks kind of like it's the same vowel sound, but in fact, we're going to sing that very differently. And we need those vowels to align. We need to connect them together. And that is the first step in getting our phrases to be very legato. Connect your vowel sounds together. Remove the consonants. Staying out of the diphthongs there. We're not going to go to the R sound just yet. Here we have an opportunity to breathe because we're at the phrase, halfway through the first phrase. Again, avoiding the diphthong or. We're going to save that until we're ready to move on. So the whole phrase, when we align all the vowels without the consonants, and that is the beginning of getting the whole thing to be legato. When we start to put the consonants back in, We are going to do a little bit of modifications from time to time as necessary. We are going to be as brief as we can in general. What do I mean by being brief? Some consonants, like the L, can be sung through. Lord, you could sing through that consonant, but we are going to be brief with it. So, joy to the world, the Lord. It is but a flick of the tongue to get from one vowel through the L to the next vowel. Other consonants like T's become a somewhat blended affair where it's not really th or t, but it's almost more of a D sound. Joy do. That is, of course, an exaggeration, but it will give you the feeling of connecting your vowels. Joy do, joy do. Once we have a feel for the change there, that slight adjustment of the T towards the D sound, then we can focus on being brief with it so that it only momentarily interrupts the flow of the air, which is connecting the vowel sounds. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Other consonants like the C on the final word of that phrase, come, think of it almost like a German sound, but again, very, very brief. We want to try and keep the air moving through the consonants into the next vowel. Now, if I exaggerate it, is we would never sing it ultimately like that, but it gives you a feel for keeping the air moving through the C sound. Is come. From there, we can back up to find just the right amount of articulation so that we have a connection between the vowels and we are singing through the consonant sounds. In general, I would advise you to think of connecting the vowels, adjusting consonants, and being brief with them to facilitate that connection. If you are singing this in a choir or a group, it is likely that your director or section leader may want to adjust things so that the group as a whole has a consensus on how you are all collectively going to treat the vowel sounds and the way that you are dealing with the consonants. But in your practice, in the interest of having the option to be as legato as possible, connecting your vowels and being brief with your consonants, adjusting as necessary, are the three ideas that I would stress the most. I do hope this helps. If you have any questions, that's what the comment section is for. Thank you once again if you've chosen to subscribe. Thank you if you've joined me on Patreon or supported my channel in other ways. I truly appreciate it. Take really good care of your voices, enjoy singing, and hopefully we'll see you again. Bye.